Доброго времени суток, дорогие зрители моего канала. Меня зовут Веритас, и мы продолжаем проходить Enderal. И наконец-то руки дошли до прохождения квеста Ролаты. Вот и наш Тараэль. Да, конечно, начнем.
Yeah, sure. The people down here call it the Weeping Tree. They believe that the Black Guardian, once a year, fulfills one of the wishes they write onto these notes. Superstitious nonsense, of course. They might as well send their wishes to the Blue Island Coalition. Maybe. Ready to set out? What do you think? Because we don't want to draw any attention. If somebody sees me walking around with you, it won't be the end of the world, but I don't want to cause unnecessary problems. First a question. Have you ever heard of the Night of the Blind Daughters? A massacre that took place 20 years ago. It was at the farmer's coast, around midsummer. The farmers had just put out the lights after a long day's work. Suddenly, shrouded figures showed up out of nowhere, with steel masks covering their faces. They broke into the houses and killed anybody who dared to stand in their way. While they merely wreaked havoc on most of the farms, any family with a daughter between 12 and 16 winters was less lucky. All in all, these masked people took 10 daughters that night and carried them away. They were found 1 week later. They lay on the Penny Road, mutilated with their eyes sewn shut. One girl each mile.
Песню вспомнил. Из Enderal. Так вот откуда она. Именно по контексту.
They tried, but the few farm boys who were there in time stood no chance. These masked attackers were assassins, as deadly as the petrified and as brutal as lost ones. To this very day, no one knows. However, there are theories. Do the names the Black Libra and Jael Tannison ring a bell? The Butcher of Ark. Yes. Thing is, in this book he left behind, Tannison claims to have been part of a cult called the Black Libra. Even nowadays there are still scholars that deny its existence. But according to Tannison, they see themselves as some kind of counterbalancing power. They make sure that malice and sin, they don't gain the upper hand in this world, and that the scales of good and evil thus stay in balance. Well, this is where it gets bizarre. Normally the Libra only kills people who have already sinned. Tyrants, rapists, murderers, and so on. Which is also why the attack on the farmer's coast didn't make any sense, and still doesn't for most people today. However, the father has a theory. Well, he does have an avid interest in them. Let's put it this way. He has dug up every little bit of information that there is. But we'll come to that later. According to the father, the Black Libra chooses their sinners through the dreams of some kind of holy child. The dreams are interpreted by the Libra's priests who extract the names and faces of evildoers from them. However, the child doesn't just see people who have already sinned. She also sees evil in its inception. Thus, the Libra might decide to kill a boy before he becomes a tyrant, or a girl before she gives birth to a murderer. I know, it sounds insane, but that's what it is. But apparently the Libra fully believes in this principle. The child is omniscient. Yes. So it would seem, though according to the father, they wouldn't have just been ordinary murderers, but emissaries of the end. Whatever that may mean. Simple. The father believes that the Black Libra knows the secret to transcendence. This is why he's been studying Tannisson's books like a madman. Especially one in particular. in which he describes the initiation ritual he underwent to become one of their assassins. And I also think that this temple in the Frostcliff Mountains is somehow related to the Libra. Long story short, apparently the pages of Tannisson's original manuscript describing the initiation ritual in detail were forcefully torn out, and the father wants to find them. Right. And I happen to know the only person who might be able to tell us their whereabouts. A man named Kalian. Correct. He was also an assassin of the Libra, and Tannisson's mentor. In other words, an unscrupulous piece of shit that did nothing but murder people for decades, guilty, the innocent alike. According to the father, he was also the one who orchestrated the Night of the Blind Daughters. However, that massacre seems to have been too much even for his rotten conscience to bear, because he left the Libra shortly thereafter. He took on a new identity. He's been living as a beggar in the Undercity ever since. I saw him once. It's no wonder that nobody knows what kind of monster he is. He's gone completely insane. Drinks away every penny he gets his hands on. Exactly. If we bring them to the First Seer and I tell him how I couldn't have done it without you, he might consider hiring you for the expedition. That's the plan. Not the best one, certainly, but, all we're getting. Then we'll need to improvise. Let's just hope it doesn't come to that. He currently lives in the communes. That is, if he isn't in some horse bed in the Silver Cloud right now or getting hammered in the False Dark. I'll let you do the talking. It's unlikely that the First Seer will find out, but the more you actually help me on this mission, the more convincing our little story will be. One more thing. Don't go easy on that scum. He might seem harmless now, but remember what he's done. And remember that those 10 mutilated girls on the Penny Road are just one more page in this man's book of sins.
Так. Так, блин, куда он в бараке ушел? Блин, чел, ты серьезно, что ли? Давай, дуй. Мы же отсюда пришли, какого хрена? Или не отсюда?
What do you want? To cock at me? Just leave. Please.
Well, look at that. Our friend has a visitor. Get out of here.
What?
I said, get out of here. We need 10 minutes. Afterwards, you can fuck as many men as you want.
Of course, my lord. At once.
Блин, она неактивна. Это тоже неактивно.
Interesting. Yes. Never mind. Look at him. Pissed like a rat. A miracle he could even get it up. I sure as fuck don't want you to cuddle with him. And again, never forget what this man did. He may look pathetic, but that doesn't change the fact that he orchestrated the murder of 10 girls. Innocent girls.
Yeah, who are you? Nailak is tired. Nailak needs sleep. Information. You remind him of Kalian when he still lived. So much anger in you, so much hatred. Kalian knew this feeling too well. This anger, this cold, rotten wrath. And then the dream came and showed him his calling. But he was so blind, he didn't see where the road led him. Only when those little flowers' corpses lay dead in the dust did he see what he had done, what he had become. Now Kalian has been punished. He's dead, and Nailak deserves to suffer for eternity.
Зря они и добавили. Надо было просто и оставить.
Pages? Nailak doesn't know what you mean. Now please, go. Nailak is tired and needs to sleep.
All right. Let me rephrase my friend's words. You stop playing confused oracle and fucking tell us what we want to know now. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll let you live. Are we clear?
But Nailak just...
Are we clear?
Yes, sir. Nailak understands. Please forgive him. So, the pages. Yes, of course, the pages. Nailak remembers. Kalian tore them from Tannerson's book before the world could see them. How long? Years? Decades? He doesn't know. Kalian had a sense of time, Nailak doesn't. Yes, of course. But tell me, what do you want with them? You won't be able to read them. Because they're written in the language of the Libra. Even Kalian couldn't read a single word of them. Isn't it obvious? Because something else guided Tannerson's hand when he wrote them. Nailak doesn't have a choice, does he? All right, he will do as you demand. The pages, he buried them together with his old skin. He can show you the pages. But tell him, my sir, if he shows you the pages, could you... Well, Nailak is hungry, Nailak is thirsty, and he has no more coin. Yes, Nailak understands. Good. Come, follow.
А, это походу DLC.
My sir, Nailak has a question.
What?
Your face. You seem familiar. Are you certain that you have never met Nailak before?
How would I know? Maybe. This is the way to the tar pit. Are you sure that's where we're supposed to be going?
It's not, my sir. Nailak is vermin, but he knows when he has to obey. You can trust him.
I'm guessing ahoy. Snobs are wishing for the safety of these caves.
was a good man.
Hold it right there, old man. Where do you think you're going? You're a little too old for digging.
He belongs to us. We're acting under the Father's orders.
Brother, wrath, from ashes to blood, from blood to liberation. I didn't recognize you. Forgive me.
From ashes to blood, from blood to liberation. Let us through.
Of course. Father's blessings.
Father's blessings. Keep going, scum.
Yes, of course.
Так мы вроде сюда и нормально могли спуститься, не через того чувака. Мы ж тут уже были.
Yes, we're here. This is where he buried the pages.
The deserted tunnels. We should be wary. There are a lot of lowlifes down here.
Wrong time, wrong place!
Блин, а он больно дамажит. Блин, они его разваливают. Да ё-моё. Надо просто успеть его, где он. Вот он. Жить буду.
There. Back there. That's where he buried his old skin. Please, my sir. You need to just take these last few steps alone. Nailak can't. He just can't.
Is this a trap?
What? No, of course not. It's just... Nailak can't. Don't you understand? To see him after all this time? No. Kill Nailak if you don't believe him, but he will stay.
Во, он меня что, не заметил, что ли? Ой, не того, не того! Ну, капец. У тебя будут какие-нибудь заклинания? А чё это ты распадаешься? Капец! Это чё за хрень?
Don't you understand? To see him after all this time? No. Kill Nailak if you don't believe him, but he will stay.
Fine. You go on ahead. Enemy! Right, shout.
Назад, 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 назад. Блин. Оно сдохло? Оно сдохло. Ни хрена сет не помогает, если честно. Ух, твою мать.
Look out!
Где второй? А, это просто мародеры.
Skeleton. I'm not seeing anything. Let's look around.
Такое ощущение, будто бы мне нужно туда шмальнуть. Ну или не нужно было. Может, тут где-то тайный проход. Наверх не забраться. Психоз. Блин, я чуть не обосрался. То, что мы ищем, должно быть где-то тут. А, вот он.
Let me see.
Ну чё, ты идешь?
Yeah. Well, that looks promising. Then I guess we need to dig. Come help me. Here we go. This must be it. Pretty big. What the blazes did he put in there? What's that smell? What the? Oh, shit. You mean this body is... Nonsense. You want to know what I think? This is probably some poor sod that crossed this lunatic's path at the wrong time. So we put him right into the crate with the pages. Bloody son of a whore. Oh, fuck if I know. We're talking about a man who murdered 10 girls in cold blood because his cult ordered him to do it. I think you'd be well advised to stop trying to apply logic to his thinking. Right you are. Come on. You take them. Got them? All right. Back to Kalian. Get up, scum.
Ah, my sir. You found what you were looking for, didn't you? He can tell by your eyes.
We found the pages and something else. Whose corpse is in that chest?
What? But he told you, didn't he? It's Kalian. Nailak buried him. Yes. He said it before, didn't he? Kalian couldn't continue to live in this shell after what he did, so he shed it and gave birth to Nailak. And Nailak buried him, together with the memories. You don't believe him. You think Nailak is lying. But it's the truth, the simple truth. You two, more than anyone else, should understand.
Sure. Either way, we have what we wanted. And now it's time for you to pay for your crimes, Kalian. It's long overdue.
What? But you said that you'd spare him if he'd show you the pages.
We said that we would think about it. And guess what? I did. You're a murderer, Kalian. And you've killed more people than I can count. Men, women, and children. And you know what? This whole act about how remorseful you are. I'm not buying it. Yes, you drank your bloody brains into oblivion, but ultimately, the only one you truly pity is yourself. What? And to you, that's all that matters? If we let him live, even as a stinking beggar, we spit on the graves of those 10 girls, as well as on everyone else this piece of shit has butchered. This is about justice. I thought you'd be bright enough to understand that.
Знаешь, это твое дело.
Any last words?
Letho.
What?
Nailak remembers. By the name of the sun, you were in the refuge orphanage, you and your friend, Letho.
What do you know about the refuge?
Back then, before the flesh maggot plague, when Nailak was still strong, the Kyranian woman who ran the orphanage gave him work. Don't you remember? He carried crates, he cleaned the floor, he cooked.
That was you? Uncle Nailak?
Yes, that's what you called him, Uncle Nailak. By the Guardians, it's been so long, but he remembers it all now. You and your friend, you were inseparable. Until...
You're right. I do remember.
What?
We were there when they took us. Worse, you helped them. What did she pay you, that old cunt? Huh? Carrying crates? Selling children to the Rolada? All the same, isn't it?
No, what? Nailak doesn't understand. He only...
Let's go. Well, as I said, we're done here. Next we need to bring the pages to the first seer, which will, hopefully, encourage him to consider you as a mercenary for the expedition. But we'll see. Before we do that, though, we need to discuss a couple of things. We cannot afford a single mistake if we want this to work. Meet me in my hideout tomorrow morning, alright? There's a small abandoned warehouse in the main cabin, right before the path up to the city. There's an old poster of the theater right next to the door. That's how you recognize it. The dark corners of our minds. Until then.
Думаю, на этом мы на сегодня закончим. Если вы здесь впервые, вы можете подписаться на канал, поставить лайк, нажать на колокольчик. А меня зовут Веритас. Всем до новых встреч. Всем пока-пока-пока-пока-пока.